The RV industry has a serious Chinese motorhome problem, and this is the problem. The Maxus T90 Explorer, a factory-built 4x4 that sleeps 4 adults. Stay with me and I'll show you the 3 reasons why the industry should be scared of this thing, and it's hiding one thing inside you'd only expect in a house, not a motorhome this size. Let's take a look.
Motorhome luxury.
Starting with the front. This does not look like a budget product. A big windshield, a long bonnet, a bold center grille with the headlights sitting flush inside it, fog lights below, and above the cab, that massive box-like structure with an LED light bar running across it, part of the off-road package. Remember that box? There's a second bedroom hiding inside it. But let's talk about what actually matters. The engine. A 2-liter bi-turbo diesel, 215 horsepower, 500 Newton meters, through a ZF 8-speed automatic. Now look at the 4-wheel drive selector. There's a button marked 4L. That's low range, a second set of gears that trades speed for pulling power. Think of the lowest gear on a mountain bike. You crawl, but you climb anything. Most camper vans sold as 4x4s don't have it. Remember that. It comes back at the end of this video. Now, if you're thinking this is some hobbyist bolting a bed into a van, let's clear that up right now. This is a factory product from SAIC Maxus. That's the group that also owns MG, and the T90 is sold around the world as Maxus and as LDV. So what does that mean for you? 2 things. The obvious one is dealers, service centers and parts, in places a one-off conversion could never reach. But here's the part that matters more. The engine, the chassis, the 4-wheel drive system, the crash testing, the hard, expensive engineering, the part that costs a fortune to get right, was done by a car company, to car company standards, and then turned into a camper. That's not a conversion, that's a vehicle. That's reason 1 coming into focus. This is real. Keep that in mind, because we still haven't told you what it costs. And it stays small, 19.6 feet long, 7.6 feet wide. That's the whole trick. It goes where the big ones simply cannot follow. Round to the passenger side, and here's the habitation door. A small window, a built-in bin on the inside of it, a fly screen against the mosquitoes, and an electric step that folds out as it opens. Next to it, the awning. It deploys electrically. It has built-in lights, and it drops support legs so it holds up when the wind picks up. Under it, you've got an outdoor living room. But look at this compartment beside the door, because this is the best idea on the whole vehicle. It isn't storage. Pull it, and a tray slides out with a gas burner on it. Beside it, a worktop. Enough to chop on, enough to plate up, enough to just park the glasses. And built into the same compartment, an outdoor shower for the sandy feet, the muddy boots, or the dog. Think about what that actually gives you. Your kitchen lives outside, under that awning. You cook in the fresh air. The smell never gets into the cabin, the heat never gets into the cabin, and the mess never gets into the cabin. On a small motorhome, that isn't a gimmick. That's the difference between a vehicle you tolerate and a vehicle you live in. And these are exactly the features Western builders put on the options list. Here, they're standard. You'll also spot camera pods around the body. They feed a 360-degree bird's-eye view onto the screen in the cab, so in a tight campsite, you're not guessing where your corners are. And right at the back of this side, the toilet cassette. It slides straight out. You empty it. You slide it back, and nothing ever gets carried through the living space. Around the back, the rear panel is clean and flat. Taillights, a reverse camera, and a tow hitch with a ball on it. And SAIC will sell you a storage rack back here, a bank of boxes across the rear for the gear that has no business being inside a camper. Round to the driver's side, and this is where the vehicle does its housekeeping. Start with the big one. A storage bay that runs deep into the body, lit inside, wide enough for suitcases, folding chairs, a table and a barbecue, with room left over. Hold that thought. This bay has a second trick, and we'll find it from the inside. Forward of that, the freshwater inlet. 32 gallons of fresh, 10.5 of gray. Beside it, the shore power connection. And open this hatch, a big black cap for the diesel, and a smaller blue one for the AdBlue. And then the power. 400 amp hours of lithium, a 3,000 watt inverter, and 200 watts of solar on the roof. That combination runs the fridge, the microwave, the lights, and the sockets for days on end with no hookup, no generator, and nobody to ask. Which is really the point of this whole exterior. Every single decision out here assumes you're going somewhere there isn't a campsite. Everything out here has been reason one. This is real. But that's only half the case, the other half is behind this door. Then we'll talk about what it costs, and why the RV industry already has a problem it can't fix. Step inside, and the first thing in front of you is the dinette. Two double sofas facing each other across a folding table with cup holders sunk into it. And the seats have proper seatbelts, so this isn't a bed on wheels that happens to have chairs. 4 people can sit down at a table in here, and 4 people can travel in it. In a rig under 20 feet, that's rare. Just beside the door is the control panel, and this is the brain of the whole vehicle. One touchscreen, every light, every switch, battery state, how much power you're pulling, how much water is left in each tank, and control of the appliances. You never have to guess how much off-grid you've got left. You just look. And on a vehicle designed to be parked a long way from help, knowing exactly where you stand is worth more than any gadget in here. Storage is everywhere. Compartments and drawers down the side walls, overhead, under the seats. But one of them isn't like the others, and we'll come back to it. The kitchen is compact, and it is honest about that. A sink with a faucet, a convection microwave, and a double-door fridge freezer, a proper one, food for a week, not a cooler with ambitions. There's a countertop extension that folds out when you need it and disappears when you don't, which in a kitchen this size is the difference between cooking and juggling. And on the other side, a pantry with dedicated shelves, so your tins and your bottles stay where you put them instead of migrating around the cabin every time you take a corner. But hang on, where's the cooktop? That's the catch. There isn't one. The T90 Explorer has no indoor hob at all. Your cooking is supposed to happen outside, on that slide-out burner we just looked at. And I'll be straight with you, for some people that's a deal breaker. If it's raining sideways and you want a coffee, you want a burner within reach. But it isn't the end of the world. The trade you're making is a cabin that never smells of last night's dinner, never fogs up, and never gets that greasy film on the windows that every small camper owner knows about. And this is a vehicle built to be parked somewhere with a view. Maxus is betting you'd rather cook looking at it. So the question is, would you miss having a cooktop inside, or would you rather cook out in the fresh air? Let us know in the comments. Coming to the back, you've got a corner bed. And at first glance, it looks too short. It genuinely looks like a bed for someone who gave up. But here's the catch. Fold the dinette seats down, rearrange the cushions across, and the bed grows. The dinette you were eating at 10 minutes ago becomes the other half of your mattress. Laid out, it's 6'3" long and just under 4 feet wide, a proper double. It's the oldest trick in the campervan book, and it still works, because the alternative in a vehicle this short is a bed you sleep in diagonally and regret in the morning. And look up at the ceiling. There's a projector mounted in it, throwing onto a pull-down screen above the cab. So on a wet evening, parked in the middle of nowhere, you've got a cinema. And remember that storage bay we saw on the driver's side? Look underneath this bed. It's the same bay, from in here. That's why it matters. You can reach your main storage compartment from inside the vehicle, which means you can get to your luggage while you're on the road. No more pulling over, climbing out, walking round, and opening a hatch in the rain because someone needs a jumper. It's a small thing that tells you a lot about who designed this. Now, the bathroom, because this is what we told you it was hiding. It's a wet bath, toilet, shower head, towel rails, a big mirror, storage cabinets. But look under the sink, a washing machine, a full front-loading washing machine, in a sub-20-foot four-wheel drive motorhome. That is something you'd only expect in a house, not a rig this size. And Maxus didn't stop there. There's a clothesline strung in the same room, and hot air vents to dry against. So you wash and you dry a full load, parked somewhere with no power, no laundrette, and no road back to one. Think about what that actually removes from your trip. No hunting for a laundrette, no hauling a bag of wet clothes back to the van, no planning your route around a town that has a machine in it. On a vehicle built to take you somewhere remote, the thing that usually drags you back to civilization is laundry, and Maxus just deleted it. Now, the honest part. This bathroom is tight. For a motorhome pitched at this level that reads like a real mark against it, and if you're a big person, you will notice. But weigh it against what's in there. A washing machine, tucked under the sink so it didn't come out of the shower, or the toilet, or the length of the vehicle. A clothesline. Drying vents. storage, all in that same small room. That's not a compromise. That's someone counting every single inch and refusing to waste one. And that box above the cab? Up front, there's a second bedroom. You climb up on a ladder that stows away around the bunk itself. And it's warmer and softer up there than you'd expect. Ambient lighting, windows on both sides, and a big skylight straight above your head, so you're falling asleep looking at whatever sky you drove out there to find. 2 people fit. It's cozy rather than palatial, and that's the honest word for it. But it's a real berth with a real mattress, not a shelf for the kids. Which brings the total to 4. 2 at the back, 2 up front, separate spaces, at opposite ends of the vehicle. Anyone who has tried to put 4 people to bed in a small camper knows the difference between 4 berths and 4 berths that are actually away from each other. A 4-wheel drive that genuinely sleeps 4, with a real bathroom, a real kitchen, and a real bed at both ends. So that's reason 1. Settled. This is a complete genuine machine, not a toy. Which leaves the 2 reasons we've been holding back. Underneath that bunk, there's a big pass-through into the cab, so you can move between the living space and the driver's seat without stepping outside. In bad weather, or at a rest stop at 2 in the morning, that's worth more than it sounds. And the cab itself feels expensive. Cup holders, a smart infotainment setup, and the safety kit you actually want on a long day behind the wheel. Lane assist, ABS, automatic emergency braking. It doesn't feel like a work truck that got promoted. It feels like a car. Which brings us to reason 2, and the number we've been holding back. In China, the T90 Explorer reportedly sells for the equivalent of about $63,000. Now, I'm not going to insult you by holding that up against $1 million expedition truck. The fair comparison is the Winnebago Revel, a factory adventure van from a major American brand, doing exactly the same job and about the same size. Sticker is around $275,000. They actually change hands for about $185,000. And it sleeps 2, in a van, with no separate bedroom. It's all-wheel drive too. There's no low range in it. So the Chinese vehicle costs about 1/3 of what the American one really sells for. And for that 1/3, you get the low range, a separate bedroom, a full bathroom, a washing machine, and twice the beds. Now, I know what you're thinking. You can't just ship one over for free. Fair enough. So let's stress test it. Let's be generous. Let's say importing the thing doubled the price. Shipping, duties, homologation, taxes, the lot. Double it. You'd still be paying $126,000. That is nearly $60,000 less than a Revel actually sells for. And it sleeps twice as many people. That's reason 2. And reason 3 is the one the industry can't do anything about. Because here's the thing. You can't buy this. A 25-year import rule means a new T90 cannot legally cross the American border. Not for a long time yet. And in Europe, the Chinese haven't exactly swept the board either. A German importer brought Maxus campers to the Caravan Salon in Dusseldorf, the biggest motorhome show on Earth. People queued around the stand just to look inside. And then it stalled. Demo units went on clearance. No stand at this year's show. So Maxus hasn't conquered anything. And it doesn't matter. Because the number got out. Europe isn't a dying market, it's the prize. Around 161,000 motorhomes are registered across Europe every single year. 75,000 of those in Germany alone. It is the richest motorhome market in the world. And into that market, a Maxus camper van that sleeps 4 went on sale for about $69,000. A Volkswagen Grand California, same 6-meter class, starts at about $94,000. A quarter less money. Published. In a catalog. In the biggest market there is. And that's the part you can't undo. Once a buyer knows that number exists, every sticker above it has to explain itself. The vehicle doesn't have to arrive to do the damage. The price already did. Meanwhile, the home market is going the other way. Through 2026, American RV shipments are down more than 14%, 7 straight months of decline, and the industry has cut its own forecast, blaming tightening household budgets and higher financing costs. Buyers aren't losing interest, they're being priced out. And that is exactly the moment when a machine like this does the most damage. That's reason 3. So, there's the serious Chinese motorhome problem. And it isn't that the T90 Explorer is perfect. It isn't. It's that all 3 reasons are true at the same time. It's real. Built by a car company, to car company standards. It's cheap, a third of what the West charges, for more vehicle. And the price is already out there, whether the vehicle gets in or not. So tell me in the comments, is the T90 the wake-up call the RV world needed, or should Western builders be genuinely worried? And if you want to see the Korean motorhome coming for the industry next, click the video on your screen, and we'll see you soon at a new luxury motorhome.